Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I remain Emeka Onyeka Adeleri. This is a continuation of my podcast on why we must follow facts and the truth in pursuit of development of Nigeria and our Igbo, to be precise. You know, I've read some of the responses from data boys of the Anambra State government, you know, in response to my altruistic and patriotic interventions in some of the submissions by the governor of Anambra State. And I want to state it clearly. I love Professor Charles Soludo. I was one of the very few who stormed and campaigned for him. I believed in his capacity as somebody who was former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, chief economic advisor to Obasanjo, and who has transversed around the world that at least he will provide excellent leadership for Anambra and then for Igbo. But what I've seen I'm not judging, I'm not from Anambra State, but I'm responding to what concerns Igbo. There's this popular, speech he made at the University of Nigeria, where he said in Igbo, we should emphasize scheming to produce the president, but we should mainstream into the central politics, into the federal government. Maybe practically he was trying to tell us everybody should join APC, and that's the only way Igbo will be integrated into the national rail master plan, into the national gas master plan, and get the Naija dressed from the escravos, and have river port. Nothing is further from the truth, and I will support this with facts. Igbo do not need to genuflect, grovel, or speak to before anybody, or to become pull ourselves into a one-party state just because we want these things. These things can be done without us being part of the central government, and I will list specifics to support my position. Yes, it's good to be very friendly and have a good handshake between the subservient units and the sovereign units. Good handshake from the central to the state to the local government. But any governor or any elected public official that is altruistic, honest and sincere, like this Anambra, like Dr. Michael Koroba, like Alhaji Lateef Jokonde, we develop and build great infrastructures, whether he's at the center or not. In 2009, there were 3 major infrastructure projects that happened across Africa. Addis Ababa Municipal started a 34-kilometer light rail project for $75 million. Lagos State government, under the excellent Batunde Raji Fashola, started a light project, even in a very developed, that it was even more complicated than the Addis Ababa one. 2009. Raji Fashola was in opposition. In fact, Lagos State government was standing massive opposition against the PDP between 1999 to 2009. In Rivers State, Rotimi Amaechi started a $400 million monorail project. Rivers State was a core PDP state. The wife of the president then, Goodluck Jonathan, vice president, then who later became president in 2010 after the demise of the good man Yar'Adua, is from Rivers State. So Rivers State had always been a core PDP state, a core state that finances PDP. So one will have expected, okay, Rivers State is part of the mainstream, therefore massive projects will happen in Rivers State and all the rest of it. Addis Ababa Municipal delivered their light rail project in 2015, 2016, 6 years after. Today, that project, the first phase, does about 6,000 passenger traffic every 1 hour. Lagos State government completed their own project under Sanwo-Olu that is delivering good passenger traffic. Monorail of Rivers State was abandoned by Nyesom Wike in 2016. $400 million down the drain, wasted and squandered. So it wasn't a case of not being at the center or being in good terms with center. It's a case of incompetencies and corruption. That was what affected the ones that failed and the ones that did not fail. So do you now continue to make argument? You must be the part of the central government for you to bring development. Desmond Mbakwe did a lot of marvelous jobs as governor of the old Imo State. Desmond Mbakwe was in PDP. He was in APP and NPP. He was called a crying governor because he was always willing to get attention from MPN. What he did till today is unmatched. He did not wait to be linked to MPN for him to do what he did. Lateef Jokonde was in UPN. He wasn't in MPN. He was also opposition. Go and see what Lateef Jokonde did between 1979 to 1983. There's no governor in Lagos State that have been able to achieve what Lateef did in 4 years. Dr. Michael Koroba, between 1959 to 1960, built the fastest growing economy in the Commonwealth. He was not part of the MPC central government. Michael Okpara was the first government in West Africa to build an industrial estate that was powered by gas. 1963, decades before Lagos and Ogun State began to experience gas-fired industrial parks. So the truth is, any governor who is sincere and who wants to develop his state can develop relationships and do it without gaslighting the Igbo. Reminding us that we took arms against Nigeria is a mischievous revision of history. Reminding us that because we fought a civil war, therefore we need to koto, genuflate and bow to be received and mainstreamed into the gas project. Rotimi Amechi was Minister for Transport for 8 years. He was a super minister because he was one of those that single-handedly used the state fund to bankroll Buhari. For those 8 years, he was transport minister. He was in charge of MPA and a lot of other things. He did 156-kilometer standard rail project in Lagos, between Lagos and Ibadan, $1.96 billion. He even did from Kaduna to Maradi in Niger Republic, outside Nigeria. He never occurred to Rotimi Amechi with Charles Soludo, who was then one of those presidential advisory committee members of Buhari's economic advisory committee, to plead with Buhari to just do small 45-kilometer standard gauge rail project from River State, One to Aba, or to do from River State to Onitsha, which is less than 200 kilometers. It never occurred to them. Jonathan was president for 6 years. Rotimi Amechi was in PDP. It never occurred to them to convince Jonathan, their in-law, from Bayelsa State, to develop the One River Port, seaport, to make it as competitive as Tinkan and Apapa. What are we talking about? Akwa Ibom, with all their deep watches, started a deep seaport project under APGA. It never occurred to them. They were central to PDP government. They were part of, they've been a core PDP state. They, after squandering everything, where is the deep seaport of River State, of Akwa Ibom? Most of the, from Lekki Deep Seaport to Dangote Refinery, to most of the, to even Badagry, to most of the projects, massive infrastructure projects that Lagos State government did, even the Lekki Ikoyi link bridge, were built when Lagos State government was in deep opposition. Lagos State government did not receive the kind of huge FAC and JAC allocations, 13% derivative that Rivers, Delta, and all of them received Akwa Ibom. So where did they put their own money? So do we see clearly that it's not about being at the center or genuflating? Most of these guys, when they want to mainstream themselves and pursue their selfish political agenda, they will start, first of all, gaslighting the Igbo, gaslighting their people, telling them out of poppycock. And they think that some of us will be here and we will not reply. We will reply. Alex Oti, Dr. Governor of Naija State, is not a member of APC. But go and see the kind of handshake he has with Bola Tinubu in Abuja. The only time we had a federal government housing project, was Shagari. Today, federal government of Nigeria is through the federal housing is doing 1,200 housing units in Naija State. They didn't do it in any APC state. It's because there's a good handshake. They are working with federal government to do an airport in Naija State in Nsulu. Hope Uzodimma, very good politician who understand how to play politics with arbitrary. We never see Hope abuse any of his predecessors, even Rochas that he fought a very serious political battle with. We never see Hope abuse any of them, insult them. You understand that this is politics. You cannot sell down your brother. You cannot destroy your own because you want to gain political mileage and advantage. Go and see what Hope is doing. Hope is using his connection to the center to be doing a lot of things. The Imo State today has some of the best road networks under Hope. Imo State today has, Hope is doing a massive 385 megawatts power plant, gas fired. Hope is doing the Orashi River Port and is dredging the Orashi. The project was stopped because they needed to evacuate a lot of pipelines and other things, oil pipelines that went through the river channels. But at least Hope had the presence of mind to start those kind of projects that had the highest catalytic effect in enhancing productivity in Imo State and in Igbo. He's doing massive energy cities. Desa Mbakwe and the Jim Wobodo developed a lot of industrial estates. This Onitsha Road Industrial Estate was developed by Dr. Michael, by Dr. Sam Mbakwe. All these other governors now who are telling us, professors and doctors, who are telling us how we need to go and control and genuflate before those in Aso Rock, before we will be mainstreamed into the gas project. The gas that we have, the 60% of the gas reserve is in Igbo. If these guys do not know how to utilize the abundant natural resources under the PPP framework, getting the federal government to support us, we will show them how to do it. So don't come and tell us stories. We need to mainstream. We need to bow. We need to acknowledge that we fought a civil war. We took up arms. Stop gaslighting in Igbo. We don't need your gaslighting. We can grow economy that is bigger than that of Bavaria in Germany if we have the right people with the right brain, the right mind across the 3 tiers and arms of governments from Igbo doing the right things. God bless you. I wait for you guys.